doing. But is government really ready to give out the political will to allow our auditors work effectively and efficiently that will bring some sort of benefits to the good people of Ghana? Can we again look at setting up a bipartisan commission of inquiry that would look into issues of judgment debt?
Hey.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. You put me here. Yes. See, me from the Saglame project here. We've put in the project to a halt. All because maybe we were supposed to have constructed a project which would cost us 50,000 cedis. For over 5-6 years, a project is halting. Time a year halting, na cement bag, no ya hen. And no roads, next 16 mm. At the time of halting the project, no ya hen. And how much is the price of a 16 mm iron rod? Bust before the inception of the NPP in 2016-2017. NDC administration, where the, let me say, boss itself, yeah, the warrior project be to buy an edifice or an office. Was true. The two no was me fee the amount, and I don't want to misquote myself. A benefit for buy no, yeah, they know. One saboteur, no one who the fishy did do, near investigate. And now, why they will investigate where we, as we speak. The amount of money, if it is about 30 million Ghana cedis in Yadi, you build the demo 2 separate offices now. Today, the money have doubled. And at the end of the day, who loses? It is the state. And it's the people who live within the country that are losing. The little and the meager resources that we have. Places. I would again suggest or advise that before we pay such judgment debts, we should have qualified lawyers who would go to sit in some of these cases.
$31 million.
What's that?
$31
million. Those time. 6 years. But you know that them $31 million and Djibouti is 82.
But I swear.
Coffee. That's what I swear. And Djibouti is 82. And as we speak, Yaziba is one. Who loses? It is the state. So this is not the time to look at that the NDC or just oppose that to the NPP. It is about the country losing. And if you are able to put all these things together and restructure the front of the audit service, the Attorney General's department will also be effective in its delivery. Another Nejuma, and then you will hang Parliament. I wish then compare them to the rest of our lives. Yeah. All my prudence in economic management here, just that sometimes I'm out for the one I don't know what it is and then maybe.
I mean, you never can answer. I mean, I have issues.
What are the issues?
Hang Parliament or I hunger.
Oh, is it maybe in Bibi a minimum?
I'm hungry, you are hunger.
I somebody came home. No.
Maybe I'm not supposed to, but I'm asking you.
Oh, that cousin
John's in your panaba. Me feel the, me feel the issue with Parliament or a web system, no boy. Web system. Obia will be whipped along the line to follow to the party's line. So I had yet no Ibrahim Benya independent mind or the voter. Usu Benya independent mind is a voter. Kagana Ebokoyen.
So it means that hang Parliament no boy.
Well, I was no one pass. He levy power or renting time. Me do what from.
Oh yeah, Simon. But you see, who have the technical experience to handle issues of judgment debt and understand able to share judgment debt. Uncle, your one will be about there's a judgment debt that is supposed to be paid. You whom obey no way to I've been processed no film.
And often
I've been processed.
Often
Offer auditors general no ho.
Auditors
yet Nasi to set up a commission of inquiry.
Do we have to? We don't.
So it means that some of the judgment debt we are paying, quote unquote, is nonsensical.
No, yet you are medicine there. Okay, men find the amam contract. I mean, me feel that okay. My junior may change so that's unbelievable. One hour draft contract. A rich mark and can. masamia eritwe bibi ma kankan oritwe ma bana crosses bi shemo or hidden crosses bi nyipa na etwe ma onkasa ho otawa o ano cross 10 session 1 eye ho hwanye
doesn't mean that our people do not look into the contract agreement very well and sister damu not there then whenever there is such issue of judgment debt the officials or officers who were there, you understand, should be taken to the rigors of the law.
Ibrahim, that's something nice.
I'm saying me first time I'm about platform issue. Let me also commend your setup. Executive Adam G. So almost we sure say almost him. He issues of judgment, no, as a film. Share figures are churning out between 2000 and 2019. We are looking at an excellent anchoring democracy advocacy movement Ghana. Yes, civil society organization. You went into corruption related issues, governance issues.
Oh, okay, it's a think tank.
I think tank is something.
And
more of governance issues. We also anchor proper democratic principles by virtue of fighting corruption and other human rights issues as well.
Fighting corruption.
We also into that.
Corruption. Are we trying to fight corruption?
We are doing our best because somebody must blow the whistle on it for the authorities that be.
When the referee blows the whistle, the players don't listen to it.
Oh, say some figures have come out.
Yeah.
Now you are talking about an economy where, at the last reading of our budgets, we had to wallow in excess of 37 billion deficit. Just bridging the gap because on the capital markets we have hit our ceiling, so we cannot go there. And government had to come back to convince us that look, they have just identified a tax handle called e-levy, which will be the panacea to all the challenges in Ghana. In fact, for the first time, some were even christening that tax levy, tax handle as a akobam, because it can do everything for Ghana. So obviously, I mean, this is where government was taking us. So I remember one important statement that the Minister for Rules said, our information say it means a projection of 6.9 billion. Minister of Finance a year, no, a bit me go see our na just can be a road projects and crampon or assure so some 1.5 billion be. I mean, right away their share projects. Obviously, these are figures about. Now, what to say between 2000 to 2019, 1.89 billion has been lost by the state to Judgement and ASFM. Yeah. Now, so Kaya in 2012, at the time, I'm not women and some no. His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama, EPAO, so Commissioner.
Yes,
EPAO. So, Ombe, you may be in fact we judgment debt no. So the name mensa and the bad reporting. You can see now there was so much with issue of contractual breaches. Now I don't know or the zero down on your politicians because now I feel say a politicians no omunji omun endi enti say aban bi wo ho na o ma contract bi a aban foforo be ba abe to asa contract so feel say aban na o was no ma contract no e bia some issues of corruption be self-seeking interest issues be akomu enti me ma be de me fa nyejuma me scrap no na my award in the process of scrapping it, you know. Ono company now, no your man say juma now no wa share and as over be share na why commitment be answer na be scrap no ono jana court. Then the court will look at the merit of the case and say, look, the contract was duly awarded to company A or company B, and the grounds for the termination or abrogation was not grounded in law, and for that reason, I will say the money panel judgment debt. That has been the issue. Now, we share a number of instances. A judgment yes is called with specific reference to some companies. At a point, you say the state attorneys am I or mine lawyers are almost original abiding name representing a court of company. Sometimes they don't go, so it ends up put on an individual number kono no ya award default judgment afi e basa anwa na abeye adeswa ma ye no. And another thing na osawo ka hono and the issues of delay in compensation when it comes to compulsory acquisition of properties by state. Who says the state under the constitution friends say more powers to compulsory acquire properties of for states, so long as it's for the state benefits. Until we share the case of Peter Abam, so Kanda highways here, the walls here, bubu in Sano. We share the figure na woman at the time. I change swa man bar time on pass or commence action against the states. Any scare channel, it was avoidable, but you find Yejuma. Could you imagine say we have a situation where 77,000 Ghana cedi, when in fact what we are supposed to pay was 5,000, but because we have delayed a contractor on the Ministry of Youth and Sports and just to do a rehabilitation of a tennis court. Then we have to pay so much just because somebody has failed to do Nejuma. Into we share like my brother was saying, I say a minimum benefited from that as a whole venture. Into Nebia when you say me na we are ubabaka. They have to come and then let's sort ourselves. And it's about time we speak to these issues. We just statutory breaches are wrongfully they say terminating the contract. So the grounds for the termination is not justified. I feel any panel court. And indeed the court when they be the non fan to no share case na everything na say who say ampa terminate appointment of course you'll be given judgment. Most of these cases is either our state attorneys go, but they fail to go with evidence of allegations or my yes when na corruption but through court now in order to provide the evidence to convince the judge and you cannot play politics with some of these issues. Of course you can do that when you meet as peers in politicians, but when you get to the courtroom, the name of the game is evidence. And once you have failed to provide the evidence, the judge will not listen to you as a government, whatever. The justice must prevail. And then the man, the person now has to come to chase the state. And see, often more than not, we get these judgments following these contractual breaches. But what also kills the state is that the judgment to get take 9 to 10 years interest, and the interest compounding interest accrues. And so Nipanis cannot but eventually what comes to the person becomes so huge that would it compare a Sika devoted to a sector in our economy for development, then you begin to appreciate the enormity of what we're talking about. Look, we share a road to I see I'm going to be cancelled here. The projection the Minister of Finance made was 70 million a year. So if we are projecting for 70 million a year now ultimately out of negligence, yet me lose in excess of 69 million in 2016 to 2016 now on my year any man answer your question. And so I think it's so
the road to that you talk about.
Exactly.
I don't know. Road to is a way to
it has in a number of ways. Look,
it doesn't do anything.
Look, 70 million Ghana cedi.
How many of the
These are monies. Where is car? What we allocate to the roads ministry for their road project. And you be a crowd said the routine maintenance crowd or some of our roads. But the justification for the
problem I have.
Yeah.
If something happens on the motorway before the scrapping of the tolls,
yeah.
If you look at the traffic on the motorway,
yeah.
Means I could share sometimes hundreds of cars.
That's more than that. Yeah.
Now we think that money that they collect on the motorway daily, as of some time now was 30,000 or so a day. Now when to maintain the motorway, I have a problem. It goes to the private people who collect it, their pocket.
Okay, so
and I want to make in there. All some of us were advocating for mechanize it. What's it been uncle school? Driving license. You know, some time ago, work at the uncle school. Goes on as you find it. Oh, you know, that kind of thing. What we are saying is mechanize the. I had the was saying the airport and all that. The other side of
terminal tray.
No. Avgo didn't was said.
Say because Legon here.
No, Avgo didn't was said. Legon is a classic example. It is working.
Reasons board. Say Elko, the one you're not 25. Traffic woman. I have a reason board. Water buto. And they pay 1 Ghana cedi.
It is
bigger
working.
Cars and pickups. They pay 2 Ghana cedis. It is working.
My point is, in any pan or that motorway and scrapping, I have issues with it. A baby who was of course traffic. Kasua one was of course traffic. Expand the road. Let it be mechanized. It do. I don't know if it do happen.
We do card naturally, yeah.
Card pool. There's a sticker, a sensor.
So the sensor will just.
And no, you know we buy more. And you don't hear that. The people who are collecting it. Some people fund political parties just because of road.
Yeah, to get the contact.
Yeah, Queen Man here, bitch.
Well, Odi Bahodia, then we can even extend it beyond road tolls. That's another topic.
Digitization now working. It should.
It should be able to cement all these challenges. But you see, the problem here. Let's look at this SIM card registration. And a very nice thing we are doing. But about poor. No tie chida into a minister or guard the hen. Even at a point where people do not even have the Ghana card. People have not been able to access the Ghana card. NIA itself has not been able to issue out Ghana cards as enshrined in their own offending act. And then you down marching around 11:38 p.m. Minyon could be time na or that was verified. That's why you only okotina anajo 11. And how much better TV no da ho. Why?
What's it say?
Why?
So
Ibrahim out here do I command Baba.
So basically no, I think say the issue about judgment debt near Justice Apawoye no is becoming 1 2 minutes. It means sesika. The year ejuma sa na report be by the ejuma no na asa attack for 20. Then we begin to think about other things. What is there?
Maka. Moyem yo nye de abanan kasat no was set up committee. We know was the report because of my baby white paper.
White paper exactly.
I tell you one when they finish the government will say we accept this. We don't accept it. Into why? So
set up by
so by partisan number, the government of the day will issue a white paper. Only a problem.
So that brings us back to the overwhelming powers
of the
vested in the president by the constitution. And we are one of the organizations that's also fully in support of the fact say there was a constitution. It didn't go through some amendment because
you think
it's one of the biggest challenges we have. Look, if you look at the powers that the president has and the way it's exercised now, and but the fact that we are running a system where you need to have a political party to come into government. Now, government is also able to skew the powers, in a manner that will favor on only government to remain in power in most of the time, instead of say obey a police a bit more nationalistic in nature.
Our governance maybe American a nice idea. It's a time. Constitutional review on Cherry.
And then come yes.
From 92 and constitutional review time. We no we issue white people any problem. This American. We go to my yam or president the power is one clip 1 year day. We are not ban all the way issue white paper. A year to me engine to what can we do?
Okay, so
one address one where governance says
we say the moment there's the political will and commitment. Say you be yard you will see it to me and it must come from all shades of
why we be saying for your washing and the actual go to my
and I say it is the political will na kayen because obeying the solution to the challenge be prayer but then once there's no political will a be thing say betimi edu be so ebedu until now na be edu say na we can say hang parliament. It's the first time it has happened. What they have enjoyed is the powers or parliament having their way. No matter how much you have to say, I have my way. Now, no, you need to be able to negotiate your way because powers are split. That's what I say. But I feel say na the opposition no subeti me ejina omonai so na and come use that opportunity way ama nyama akwose na ebe kono. But you see, sometimes we share nyama from afar. Let mama a very typical example, efa e-levy. A whole lot of controversies be about parliament. Me ubisami judgment the buyer a favor the fact say the deputy speaker of parliament is qualified to vote and also form committee. Me with my background, I don't have a problem with it.
Yes.
Because of course an MP first. So that fundamental right cannot be taken away from him. So what I say. But to the extent say issue of courage, a buyer, a question whether the person or not, I who's there be since judgment about from Supreme Court, they mean that automatically it goes. But if the e-levy final way in the opposition need to go back to Supreme Court, also doubting the approval because of the issue of courage, up to now Supreme Court ember out with the judgment. Meanwhile, the e-levy because there was an injunction, you remember,
and it has failed.
And the Supreme Court indeed passed the injunction with the ground say, the injunction bar essentially is to be able to curb the effect of what the person is run away from. Into secondly, ye ombeji now so penny emfa inkosi our uncle GBPR until the final determination of the matter. Meanwhile, as I speak to you, the collection is ongoing. And when it happened that way now, in line with the principle of separation of powers, you expect the judiciary to also fast track almost so that the governance structure. Until as we speak now, that issue is hanging. Collection is ongoing. You see, my buying spending, my buying NCR one loan. Meanwhile, can you guarantee say it's going to spend
yeah,
so these are the issues that we have. Yeah.
Maybe for Ibrahim's from Adams
GH
and PNC youth organizer. Could be still different. Yeah, we've been discussing the issue of an judgment. Yeah, dovetail into what find the Esgasha.
So I think you both agreed on the fact that the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, being a member of Parliament, and when assumes the role of the speakership, can also vote. This is why we are calling for a review of the Constitution. Now, can we look at a way where we voted for the Speaker?
Beautiful.
Because
beautiful.
Joe Wise, as the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, in the absence of the main Speaker, which is Avan Bagbin, has a political party.
Of course.
And whatever he does...
And Bagbin has a political party.
Bagbin has a political party, but in this case, he's not a member of Parliament.
Yes.
And so all members of Parliament have a certain tone have a certain direction. The direction of Joe Wise was certainly that the e-levy should be passed.
Of course.
So when he assumes the role of the speaker, what do you think his vote is going to be? And he is now directing the House, as at when the speaker is not in. So it tells you from onset that he would then take an entrenched position, which would be that let's pass the e-levy. So for me, I think that the ruling that came from the court, although we respect it, but I disagree.
That you join the voter.
No, you don't vote. Only do voting.
Wait.
Only do voting.
First thing, member of parliament, which man that Konakayam. I mean, hang parliament names and say, okay, no Kamaka feature because certain parliamentarians were not there.
That's another issue.
Yeah. Certain parliamentarians were not there. Me issue po. And this is another issue. Judiciary, I can't answer my me issue in there. The same law or apply to offended election petitions. What the presidential one for the same law, one for apply to parliamentarians. The speed, time now what they can you want. So the man what can yanka offend a J Cosa no is it 92 or 96? What car some 4 years? What car every year now? So me, I think that the same. Say 3 months now, but my election petition 3 months. 3 months you should apply to even MPs. What I think. Presidential they was based on you wasted time 9 months or 7 months. This time, my man brother one year sharp, which was beautiful. Other countries are picking from Ghana. Asamba, maybe at 3 months, working with a MP and MP get at even issue prepare for governance assembly. We sat here in this very studio. Now they should have an MP's village. Tagleme or whatever they call it. Have something like that. When they vote for you, you come, you stay in it for 4 years. When they vote you actually get out.
Get out.
One can say MPs 1 year because look, there's a law in Parliament. What's the mean to your rent advance? Now about to your rent advance, my MPs, what are they telling us? No, I mean maybe I'm asking they take rent advance 4 years. Meanwhile, what's in your main to your rent advance? What are they telling? If the government itself has set it 1 year no, let's face fact. These are some of the issues that I think the steps as a nation. Let's sit down and say, okay, we think this is the way to go. Me, this judgment, there's issues. Anyway, what you see, what the baby boy was causing financial loss. And also politicizing. Why? If you have a judgment that is you but he's left to go scot-free. Ekosonuma was a witch hunt. Eja so I was so what's the way out? One hour I've been
So Kufai, what I think should be done is that an investigation, proper investigation, ought to be conducted into some of these issues of exclusion. When we are able to set up that commission of inquiry, which is non-partisan,
and after they will release the white party.
All the white party. If we are able to go through this, sometimes fairness in some of two, whether or not the person would consider himself being witch hunted or not. Do over no or your external administration no or conducted them engagement and other contracting. New administration aba. Osa no 10 no jawa be a party for na wa ban woni nti. Osa no 10
thank you.
No jaw. A party now for aba foforo owo e were them former and the previous administration who nti. There's nothing like fairness. There's nothing like equity. When it happens this way, people will definitely begin thinking that they are witch hunting me. You understand? So let's give them fair hearing. All right, bring them before the table.
Can baby size and the Ibrahim and the Bible fair.
Listen.
Tiana, them are going to go fertilizers and you to court for how many years?
I think if you follow our proceedings now, when they call for testimonies, the farmers know largely we're seeing say. In fact, omujina kodo komu bisaje say komu menye bia. No me dey come farm sir. So you can imagine what are we investigating?
Uncle, I'm missing fair no.
Meanwhile, no, before me say Abayi Basu. The first thing we hear is most of the road projects now see in Halton. Now Oba carry out audits. Now, and there was one road and where I Bori to Jasikan on the Wati road. Now Rulda, contractor on that road. When him say, a Jumana no why we do primary ceiling cry in a big man Judgement. Now, Ocean the contract some the man at that time. And the audit here, so one would have thought, see, then let's go back. But when Tima man come back because there's supposed to be a variation of the contract because Nyamana price is there the man the contract. And they are changing. They say the variation they was here the man to start from scratch. What it meant is that in terms of grading of the roads to prime first gravel there's a now if it is a government policy, let's hold this project, let's audit this project, and the auditing to another amount of money was allocated for that exercise across the country. That money allocated for the auditing is gone waste. It has gone waste. And now we have to repackage and re-award, and we have to review the contract time upwardly more than what we even said we're coming to audit. So in this case, who are you going to investigate and who are you going to arrest? So I think that the whole idea of governance surrounding is surrounded by
the governance expert.
And
we ask questions.
So our government should be true to the people, because you come on the back of say you have identified roads. So you are coming now. What secures our roads? In the public place that you wasting, who are protecting wastage leakage, who are sealing into ba now unyama leads to more wastage. Now you're coming. What they do to the people? Because what the people are expecting is say there should be some positive outcomes in their lives. The essence of democracy is not queuing to vote. No. Queuing to vote is just an aspect of the whole process. Yeah. But the deliverables nipano obengusa obae no policies and programs pia roll out no amane ho aha no nsuo otimi to light bill otimi tua car otimi fako up and down ko petrol no boy fo. These are rent otimi tua nyama we na the timamufo no expect as a government to beba na policy program beba na enya ho faso nti so ko to about say o to about because of this get them to sovereign. It means that the essence of governance and for us there's been a call for these smaller parties. There's been a call for a third force. Yes. But you see, they have a problem. We have done a lot of works on them, and it looks like
have organizational
we haven't did duopoly for a longer period, because even within them themselves, they include
we have challenges. But I think I have to respond to this in some few.
And the last time your GCPP man Danlate, he was the one who was able to give us about 1% plus. Apart from that, you've been hovering. No. I mean talking about the Danlate himself.
How the chain power of media.
Oh yeah, that's the power of media. Power of media none of the chain. But you see, the late Danlate was able to do that because during the Nkrumah's administration, he was an agriculturalist, and so name manifesto now are more centered on domesticalizing our own things.
That's the way to go.
You understand? And
I been our planting for food
and jobs. And with a champion government, demo I don't know them policy. He was with them. So in fact, the man did so
implemented by Kanabanasco.
He was the minister of agriculture, but Uncle Danlate not the policy.
But party.
In fact, the man do in fact, or born home. Unfortunately, there are people who have also suffered and done a lot for this country, especially when it comes to our democracy and then our development. Why are you if you want? Baby, will be a young company. In fact, them cocoa board in some year you can. My member in Chimkiti, Magasam be a cocoa farmer.
Oh, okay. As a cocoa farmer.
Or a Wawaso.
Oh, okay.
In the OT region, KGB side.
Now, cash.
Yes, Madam Cacho.
Cocoa nice or didn't talk.
Cocoa can you need baba. Chide Brunia. And no milk. You in this sardine.
Why?
Chide Brunia. Because of your Brunian, you to yet to cocoa, you had an yet. Last year, you turned a bag of cocoa at 660 Ghana cedis. That is what Cocoa Board brought. Them time, na condemn a yet spray of food. No, yeah, from 20 cedis to 24 Ghana cedis. Fertilizer, no, yeah, around 135 cedis to 150 cedis.
Russia, Ukraine.
Today, as we speak, fertilizer, no, is around 400 Ghana cedis.
Oh.
Spray
From 100 to 400.
Yes.
Russia,
spray na Russia, Ukraine. No. Russia, Ukraine. Spray na yeah, this spray that's banned. Until year 20 to 24. And as at the time I was doing my research, 50 Ghana cedis. And then could be or 53 Ghana cedis. At least by twice. Urban fertilizer another young concept. We are expecting the Cocoa Board should increase sika wadema on a bag of cocoa. 1 million per 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Number for 18 because I will work at some money. I do what price no I rise them. What price of cocoa?
What price of cocoa?
Maybe
over rising. Say
no, why rise me and maybe second. I sometimes I want to.
Okay, so on a fair deal,
inputs in our audition, meaning I have a fair idea, but I'm just asking.
Okay, so on a fair deal, if you look at the market pricing now, and more the Cocoa Board crossing my cocoa careful. For a bag of cocoa, it's supposed to be around 1,200 Ghana cedis. It's supposed to be 1,200 Ghana cedis.
But what you demand?
Fine, that's right. It's in your best in the BBR and the processor. 1 2 more farmer hen. One farmer hen no crime at least from 900 to 1,000 Ghana cedis. Now, the Cote d'Ivoire. Why sometimes we smuggle? Togo here.
Left and right.
Oh, you say Okohano, but you see,
they come what about?
Oh, but you say one but together. The Ghana Cocoa Board and then one towards it, but some private partnership be the mobile smuggling as in Onkodu. See, say, and then I say, young and there, Galam saying some Yorukodi about 300 acres of cocoa land in the western region. What the Kala Kakusim, we're booming in our go. We are looking at increasing our yield as far as cocoa production is concerned.
But I think they said most of the trees are old or something.
You know what was said because of Galamsey issues.
Okay.
But the trees that are old in Cocoa Board or policy were rolling out. At least old some number of years now. It is helping, but if you are funny, bread because me find the smell food the 20 years. Cocoa trees or two now by 100 years. It's wait by 20, 30 years. That's a on two. I'm not saying them over say no marco, but about the number because that is the only thing I feed on. That is the only work I do. It's bad number.
What's the current policy now?
In fact, the current policy is they give you something small, they come and then get away with all those.
At least when you be kakra.
The big kakra, but on social. And you know, it takes years for the cocoa to begin bearing.
When you improved variety,
young old ones in Nantoya between 5 years. Okay. But this time, Waban. At least from 2.5 to 3 years. I don't start to bear fruits.
But then be American. I'm
my baby. In fact, cocoa for your bread.
No, American. I'm my.
No, matter secret onions, but all the brunya. Me find that from October, November, and the Yoko to Kuma. Oh no, Mamma, no more for no ya wall be no. But on the thing around Christmas. So, American young called the issue of the earth crusher. I've had series of giving out of earth crusher. Now,
white paper.
Also, an earth crusher payment is a type of payment made by an organization to an individual for one damages or claims without recognizing any legal obligation. And see, from the first point, we shouldn't even be paying all these things.
Hey, as a man, Bill, as a man, but you're not paying my Mobius. What's it? The man said, you'll be German on for more. Foreign leaders banned from traveling by private jets to the Queen's funeral. You are a guest, by the way. Oh no, why am I one directive? And even as a special invitation.
Yeah.
You need to
private jet
and there's a fiat. You and your partner. 2. 9.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
There's a
when the
Baby, Anya.
Yes,
I'm Glasgow.
Anidaso. Only heads of state and their partners will be invited to the ceremony. But you want to why you never could be.
Why come? Well, back once. Oh yeah. I want to walk Glasgow and I'm saying, what your program do Glasgow? Meanwhile, you could even apply and sit in the comfort of your country, your region, even in your room, and participate. But if you need to do a Ghana for your song and go what improve? Papa no, you know.
One of our Ghana creates
retention. And the issue of S. Gracia, we've been talking about these things for quite a long period of time. You be about Juma. S. Gracia na yetia. Why you was set up committee. Na committee na ngasa will determine how much you should give to them. When then? I'm paying for the one again.
My can you get 10? But as Gasha was that all, but the quantum of the money that was set up committee. Last one here, Dora.
Yes, do a committee. And so we pay this a chamber for Papa now matter this stuff. That's right. Until you check them skin near Dama and paying for our bosom. If you look at the current
Article
71, if you look at the current situation of this country, even not now, but then what to introduce them Article 71 who the office holders are, Yaman the Musican. Obi are charged, Yabashas and a can, Obi are charged for about 30-40 years. Like social media, no one man afraid. What's the tabletop about it? Obi ye Juma or public service. Upon whom Madini Juma at the end of the day, Obokofi, no woman is called by 5,000. Another 10,000, one man TV. It's Copoy, one man don't from
this Copoy or any per month.
Madame man don't know from Kofi. Obey the other Cobanabra or Wamba or Bubiswaf.
And Ocean TV.
Ocean TV. Now, I said, so we see car. No one, the man and no more cars, yet I'm one hour Bobosum just within a space of 4 years, the one general Franco. So be about Bosum, me find as a member of Council of State for 4 years. Name and the million now. What waba? Ghana is also becoming used to this second term cycling. Next man paying so appointing him the answer some Bosum as a member of the Council of State. And the man the first time. Oh, you must see how many beam. Why should we continue to do that? A country that is not developing, a country that needs money to put together its developmental agendas and programs. We spend huge sums of money into these things. What we are saying is that the S-Gracia should be scrapped. Article 71 holders, Sika Yedzemon. Oh yeah, Sefim. Nanseni local government association were backbone part of the budget allowance. We were crying that hey, they don't have the right. But you see, say young farm moment. Near John there once one murder one home in the young political affairs. Kofai, these people will win the presidency of this country. I'm telling you, they form a political party. Look, they deal with our people on the grounds, and they have some face-to-face sort of recognition with them. If you need water, you go to Ghana Water. Ghana Water, they have their people at the district level. If you need electricity, you go to the district level. And our people down there pay allegiance to them more. Because they are becoming so fed up in the governance and the political system we are running. So when we allow the local offending staffs to engage themselves in young politics here. It is just a matter of communicating to the people down there. Because yes, governance and democracy is about putting the welfare of the people at the doorsteps of you yourself. Not economically.
So what's the democracy is expensive?
I know. Why should it be expensive?
It is expensive.
But why should it be expensive? It is expensive because we are making it expensive.
Thank you.
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Democracy expensive. He rallied the support of the youth around him, the market women, the trade union congress.
The Veranda Boys.
Veranda Boys. How much was he giving them? Until recent times, Nande, within our local political parties, you can go to our bar. You to me iPhones. You to me cars.
Them time the phone in your okay, be out cheap.
So them time in the phone, you can't go too much a mark. Not too much as I did.
I be our GB one car.
The one GB.
Yeah, this time generation, you are very do.
Be sent you 1 hour what them time to overcome your yet. Yet you said the bubble for you do. You want let be your at that time.
But I think we have evolved too. I mean, those times we just all we knew was GBC Radio 1 SW2 and then we were listening to 3.36 megahertz 89.13 meters short.
But your involvement now you're evolving. It's really new to the benefits of the people. Oh, why are they? Yes, the first person to bring a private media. The country itself was built on patriotism, volunteerism. But today we don't see some of these things. People are fighting their way through to get appointment, to become members of the Article 71 office holders, just because at the end of the day they're going to get extra shares. So to me,
in your small way, you think it should be scrapped entirely or we should adjust it?
Okay, so if
I mean, mom, the man come out and come back there, so we'll vote to be a month.
So what about it?
We'll vote to be a month. Like I've been an MP for 4 years. They vote for me again. It shouldn't be paid.
It shouldn't be paid. Oh, yeah, we see. Yes, anyway, of finance and natural because while I want to not today, for the MPC is a wobba. Now, 4 years, no son. And you know what by an woman want them in the manu. We are. No, what's the one? Even sometimes they are car loans. What about him? Okay, so what you know, teach and right? What you teach and there are some benefits today. Answer no work on one from one. Today, so what they do is that they go to borrow money, some from the banks, because you see we've monetized our political system.
Once they vote for you again,
why is it that we don't determine how much we are giving to them until their time of office expires? Why do we do that?
So we are one of your president and the president.
So it is a challenge. It is a challenge. If they are being given salaries, not even the MPs, but there are other people who are part of that 71 office. Let's look at the current pension rate. In public officers. If there will be a variation, that's a craving point as a come on. But you see, if you enter into politics, you go to parliament, another bay minister, navy, and you're careful, and you maybe it is all in the interest of you serving your nation. And as someone or you're busy by saying, no moment, I'm not sure that you're just 71 office holders in your moons, Canada man, because baby are your one. In fact, or yet. Review.
Yes.
Why expect? I mean, I
what we say? Your constitution under same Article 71, Emma, one paying the powers to set up a committee on emoluments and salaries. In the recent one was done by Professor Yan Nchema. 7 of that report of Mayana. Their emphasis was on salary disparities between Article 71 office holders and public sector workers. And there was an emphatic statement within the report, say government should see to the bridging of that disparity. It's a gap in if you have read that report. And I expect to say, when the president was to assent his signature to the report, to start applying the part of the report that talks about increment of salary by 69, between 69 and 74% or 79%. No. Equally, they should have also considered the report that talks about bridging the disparity between salary and the public sector workers. That one they didn't do it. And so we are the group that came out with a coalition against the leadership of TUC and organized labor when there was this increment of increment on the public sector in a year in a champions course. And indeed, we made our point clear that the raise in Mukoji is 4 and 7% for workers. No, for us was a no-go area, but there was no justification whatsoever for that acceptance of that negotiation. Because we were expecting, say, at the time I know we just had negotiation, and they should have taken into consideration the current economic factors and indicators to know, say, me just have a crowd and then me leader of a union within 3 to 4 months, given how unpredictable the economic climate, i.e., how sure are we say what we are taking back home for our people will be sustainable? And then we have been vindicated that there's 4% and the 7% they brought to the public sector workers was nothing to write home about. In fact, it has been swallowed by the relative increases in all the I will talk about their rent, talk about their TNT, talk about their utilities and all that. And we've been vindicated. And coming back to the issue of agriculture, it has become a topical issue again because of the economy and so then we have to begin to inject some discipline in our expenditure architecture. So what I say is the reason why Obia qualified. I mean, the president and they came to tell Ghanaians, in line with the principle of also sacrificing. 30% of their expenditure has been cut. Whether that has been done or not, we don't know. But that's what he said. Don't also forget, we were those who came out to ask that they should enforce that part of the report that talks about bridging the gap between them. Or the president Christ, or look around put salary no education crowd, one ma go back to chairs, and then he directed the chief of staff. So also no more than the other appointees. So how sure we say it has been done? It has not been done. We can say confidently. So these are some of the rhetorics that goes on within our political space. The fact of the matter is that look, Sabain per se, is serious. The moment you mention sacrifice, you should begin to be doing that in the first place. Then everybody follows. Because like somebody says, leadership is cause, and all other things effect. Until we can hear, then who catch the same inch belt now, be able on the money. But you cannot give yourself in excess of 69% salary increment and ask me to wallow in 4 and 7%. As we speak, we call for say that we projected say inflation be hit over 30%. Until when they are going for the way, they should allow that to also inform their negotiation decision. But what happened? Approval no whole and utilities issue to up. Now they are coming back to tell Ghana, oh, it's not going on well. The fact is that the government should begin to cut its costs according to the cloth size that it has. Senator Obiara. But do you even know, say, sad cola increment there can't was it has been taxed. Yes, it has been taxed.
What's what the vehicle is
15%.
So say I chop money so cola.
Oh no, 15% of let's say 2,000. How much are we looking at? That has also been taxed. And you know, it's a serious problem. You know, I will not be here to say yes. We are talking about SGH being entirely scrapped, but the fact is that we are taking 71 office holder, especially within the remit of a parliamentarian, and their tenure now is limitless. To the extent say who win elections say ban, we can ask that your SGH should be exit. So if you are doing 4 terms, 5 terms, you should finish up those 5 terms. Then when you are going home,
finally,
finally you are giving. But that's not what we have. What we have is that you fill your first 4 term, you go home with your extra share, you campaign and come back. You fill the next 4 years, you take another extra share, you go home. So long as you become you become an MP. No. So you see the dynamics. Meanwhile, what a whole superintendent at the Ghana Education Service,
yes,
only entire way friends saying gratuity or the fee at the end of the service, no, the two salary of a member of parliament quite 3 times grandpa, and so, and it's so unfair, and so yes, we are not saying the MPs are not working. We are not saying you appreciate your Judgement, but and there's a call for Sobia and Kati ni ono ajifri aban fotu mu na ama they should also be ready to look at that issue. Say the say unjin every now and then kwana uko finally no bit ma apart back now they coffee but ubeko now the back what's about uko now the corner. That is where people are talking about. And the media the education issue no, in principle will not have been a challenge, but for the fact that you was started the obia esu about see the I think say sacrifice you cut across
went into the framers of the constitution by putting that in.
It is to award them.
Yes.
It was just to award them.
And you see that of the Council of State.
I
don't know whether I mean so we have some aspect of it that you don't have to even look at the second time. You don't have to look at the second time. As for we have to make a case, a special case, because look, I have been an assembly member before, and so I speak from experience. And the fact of the matter is that assembly members here is unique to each area. If you come to my area like Jasikan, for instance, I mean, if you are an assemblyman, it's like you are only sacrificing yourself as an assembly, because nothing comes to you from the assembly. I was an assembly member in Bunkatamanso. So it's an urban area. At least we were taking something small, but relative to what we were taking in Tema was higher than what we were taking. But it was still, it was still little to nothing. Because and then look, I say an assembly member can be taking home at the end of the month 250. You get it? But that's what the person takes. They are not paid because by the concept of the assembly, you can be a worker and at the same time put up yourself for service for your community. That's why there hasn't been anything like remuneration. And they are the first point of call in the communities when they are challenged. And the people within the community, because they are not really informed about the job of the assemblyman, they feel say the assembly, just as the member of parliament who is allocated some common fund, should also be able to respond to that. But only to respond to need that, you only have to bring the challenges to him. No interface between you and the assembly itself or their core. So long as the challenge that you have put out, it falls within the assembly budget, he has to be able to lobby to make sure that it comes back to the community for development. And so these are some of the dynamics that play out in our governance sector.
SIM card registration.
SIM card registration. The minister should tone down. Me, the press conference, no buy no matter line. I watched it and I didn't see a 7 minutes. I saw an arrogant personality. You see, if you look at the constitution of Ghana, what made him a minister? You say swore to abide by the provisions of the constitution. And who are those who own the constitution? The Ghanaians. That was why when I read the suit now, you file against on any NCA, I think it makes clear because the issues of Article 296 and 23 are clear. Powers that are purely administrative, and you have a duty to make sure that in the application of that duty, in that powers, you must be fair and candid.
But you are in principle, you are not against the registration, right?
No, I'm not against the registration, but I'm against the process. So what I say, look, NIA has come out to tell Ghanaians, say, we are ready to work. We have sent our budget to Parliament for approval. The budget came back by slashing down the budget. So what I say, so we are ready to work. We need more logistics. We need personnel to recruit to do the work. Government says they are not able to support our budget. So now we are working within the limited constraints of our budget. Because they even requested for the expansion of the networks in areas where there are none, so that they can even open up more offices there. But it is not their duty to provide for themselves. Somebody must make a provision for them and buy. So if you, the Ministry of Communications, come out with a deadline, knowing that the registration of the SIM is contingent on another item, within powers, but within a power of another government agency, and that government agency is also having genuine challenges. How then can you tell me, say, who deadline now will share? I mean, it makes sense. What consultations went on? Answer who issue deadline, knowing that who deadline management, somebody's unit should be working, and they came out and said these are their genuine challenges for which reason they cannot meet the deadline of the communication minister. So what were you doing to us? In any case, who crampo no buy information, who so my certain deadline or certain app their person would. And now deadline crowd the my end of September and somewhere first week in September, then you took Ghanaians into this place. It means that the Ghanaians are now your subject, which should not be the case. And so I expect we are all awaiting the outcome of the Supreme Court ruling on the matter, so that some of these things will put people in their proper perspective and places. If you're a minister, yes, you are a minister to serve the people and not to queen yourself over the people. And that's what Esla is doing. I think that she should begin to tone down. She should see herself more as a servant to the people than the very powerful and autocratic minister she's trying to become, which I don't think Ghana, where we are going to in our democratic and governance stature, no, that she will have that space to operate in that manner.
When you implement a policy that sits well with the people, you don't see to have people complaining. Immediately, the communication and then do some real registration. They are registered them. They have our details. Now they are asking that we go back again to do registration. My question is, why is the ministry gagging us like that? For what reason do they want us to go and do registration? They are saying that it is for purposes of security. But you see, the National Communications Authority, the ministry, does not own any telecom company. They do not own any telecom company. Now, these telecom companies we are talking about, i.e. MTN, Airtel, Tigo, Vodafone, and also are those who are to be seen in the front of these issues. Now, the Ministry of Communication or the National Communications Authority is blocking people who have legally gone through the re-registration program. Why do you block them? Because all these kind of coincidences around their lives. You should also know, as telecom companies, that immediately a person or some group of people are blocked, it reduces your revenue at the end of the day. So why won't you come out and talk to the ministry? If you look at Regulation 7 of LI 2111, which talks about the mandatory use of national identity card, 7.1, as a national identity card, in this case I'm talking about a Ghana card, shall be issued, okay, and be used for the following transactions where identification is required. That is why we are asking that we're going to do the registration. And it's talking about specifically registration of SIM cards. The legal understanding is there. But sometimes we need to also allow the common sense analysis to prevail. Then you are asking people to. We know that there are structural difficulties and challenges with NIA. Why do you push the people? If you even move further, we can talk about the Electoral Commission's decision to use the Ghana card as a sole identification.
They've said they won't use that.
Who?
Electoral Commission.
No, the Ghana card as a sole identification for the continuous registration. And coalition of national youth organizers. That's why I was saying something like, okay, we need a third force. It's very difficult for us to come in. But the youth organizers of some of the parties have come together to form what we call the coalition of national youth organizers. And I am their president. We held a press conference a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Saying that we support, we support the usage or the Electoral Commission's decision to use the Ghana card as a sole document for the continuous decision exercise. But NIA has challenges. But you see, they all are different institutions, as my brother said, Ibrahim said. Especially in the case of national communications, they should look at it very well. You understand? No one man, we are not running anywhere. Ghana Bogua, you have registration.
Ghana, you queen boko.
Anything was a in one could be president. Into the master, yes, Saboteur.
Okay.
As I'm not courting, yes, courting soon. You use the common sense, approach, the opinion of the public. You find judge. No, my men, all your woman as well.
I know it's been an interesting discussion with Mark Ewusi Akon, National Youth Organizer of Kubi, PNC, and then Ibrahim Adams Mumuni, Director of Operations, Adams Ghana. We've looked at judgment, we've looked at Escracia, and then we touched base on the SIM card re-registration brouhaha. But what you mean, try and yeba yanko OPD. Today we'll be talking about dementia. We will all get there. Gradually, since we are going, we'll get there. But my friend, maybe so hard they suffer from dementia. What are the causes? Stay on, you don't go away. My name is PeeKay. We'll be right back.